Hello, my name is Joe Kramer. I'm a partner at Lipsitz, Pontarian, Comerford. I've been a lawyer since 1988 and I've been practicing in the area of asbestos litigation for about 25 years. I'm here today to talk to you about one of the job sites that we had here that employed many employees, known as Ashland Oil. If you've been living in Buffalo long enough, you're probably familiar with what used to be kind of a rotten egg smell right along the Grand Island Bridge. That came from Ashland Oil. And what Ashland Oil did, it's a refinery company, or was a refinery company that ran through the 60s, 70s, and 80s. They would turn essentially oil into lighter fuels. They had something called a cracking tower, and a cracking tower is kind of a big rocket ship looking structure. It's pretty thick walled. It has furnaces, and it has vessels and other heated structures that required the use of asbestos. In this process, people such as pipe fitters and insulators and people working with refractory material, which is brick and mortar type material, would be exposed to asbestos exposure, as well as people who worked just as refinery workers. They would have secondary exposure. But essentially, many of the structures inside the plant were insulated with something called asbestos thermal insulation. Outside contractors from Local 4, which is the insulators union, would come in and they would strip off old asbestos and put in new asbestos. And the old asbestos essentially would be broken out with things such as hammers, chisels, dropped to the floor, create a large cloud of dust, and the new insulating materials would be put in, which would involve cutting, sawing, and sweeping of asbestos, which would contaminate the whole work site. There were a number of large boilers over at Ashland, and people would work inside this boiler house. And as you might expect, in a boiler room which converts water from the river into steam, asbestos was everywhere. And unfortunately, quite a few refinery workers and outside contractors were called in, were exposed to asbestos, and subsequently have and continue to develop asbestos disease. Even though Ashland is gone, the legacy of its existence still impacts people living in the area, and unfortunately, many of them have gone on to develop diseases such as asbestosis, lung cancer, and mesothelioma. We hope you're watching this mostly as information, and don't personally, or a family member doesn't have such a disease. But if you do, give us a call. We'd be happy to come in and teach you a little bit about your rights, your remedies, and I'd be happy to help you out. Thank you.